How's it going, guys? It's Doc. On this channel, we post pretty regularly the bullish case for crypto and the overall market. But I think it would be wise to also look at things that have me worried about both Bitcoin and the overall crypto market. We're going to talk about that in this video today. But before we get started, welcome back to the channel. My name's Doc. Throughout the day, I'm a resident physician, and at night, I take you guys on my crypto and investing journey. Guys, I have an overwhelming majority of my portfolio net worth in crypto, and long term, I am very bullish on crypto, but I think it would be unwise to not look at the other side of that coin and say, hey, is this a left translated cycle? Is the cycle over? And there's some things that kind of are concerning, right? Again, this is not going to be a video on the bull case. This is going to be the video on the bear case. And the purpose of this video is to set you up so that you can figure out what to recognize if we have to sell. So before you come in, consider giving me an early like, comment down below. Where do you think Bitcoin's coming in this cycle? And if you don't mind, give me an early sub because I'm asking nice. Okay, right now we have a pretty clear downtrend in Bitcoin. Now, I don't want you to get too lost in the sauce on this line because the goal of it is to not be perfect TA. It's really just to show you we've been operating in this down channel for quite some time, right? And we've been floating back and forth, right? We're at the top of this channel now. We could be coming back down. I could also draw this so that it's an ascending channel as well. Again, the goal is to not be TA, but to really recognize that Bitcoin has yet to get back above 100,000 for quite some time, right? If we look back, the last time that we were at 100,000 was in February, right? So a couple months ago. So we're going to look at some indicators that kind of have me concerned for the overall crypto market. So this is Into the Cryptoverse. This is Benjamin Cohen's website. And right now we're looking at his social risk metric. I've applied a 7-day moving average just to smooth out some of the lines. And the risk metric here is going to be the red line. And then obviously the blue line is going to be Bitcoin's price. So you're probably asking yourself, where does this social risk metric come from? Well, Ben, he aggregated a ton of data and he's looking at YouTube subscribers to very popular channels, YouTube views to very popular channels, and then follows to Twitter analysts, Twitter exchanges, and Twitter layer ones. So, right, the exchanges that would be like how many followers are Kraken, Coinbase, BitUnex, how many followers are they gaining? And then same with layer ones, right? Sui, Solana, Aptos, AVAX, etc. And as you can see, the risk is absolutely crushed right now, right? So the risk metric goes all the way from 1 to 0. And right now, we are abysmal. We are sitting so low. The risk metric right now, it's 0.01, right? It's below 0.02. And just for context, in December or early January near their inauguration, we're at 0.4, right? So we've been below 0.1. I'll zoom in on this. We've been below 0.1 for quite some time. And in January, we were above 0.4. Okay, so you might be thinking, oh gosh, 0.4. Well, it goes back farther than that, right? Yes, it does. All the way back in the prior bull cycle, if we look at April, okay, because April was kind of that first peak on the double peak in the 2021 cycle, the risk metric got to 0.99, okay? And then it obviously dipped all the way down to about 0.63-ish. And then in November, when the cycle topped at 69,000, we got back above the 0.9 band, right? We're nowhere near that now. We are nowhere near that. And you might be asking yourself, okay, well, the other exciting time that I remember in crypto, other than like January, December of this year, was probably March of 2024, right? That's when we hit $73,000, and that was a really exciting time because the halvening hasn't started yet, and we had all this brand new ETF inflows buying Bitcoin off exchanges. Well, we only got to 0.42-ish back in the spring of 2024. So you can tell we have a ways to go. And one way that you can interpret this is that retail is not back yet. Okay. More on that in a second, but the social risk is really, really low, which would indicate the average retail investor is not here yet. And what I mean by that is, like, when it's above 0.9, that's when your Uber driver or taxi driver or someone that you went to high school with is messaging you about Bitcoin and crypto. That's when you kind of got to think, okay, maybe we should start selling some things. Another really interesting chart from Into the Cryptoverse plays amongst this same theme as the social risk, but this is looking at YouTube views. Okay. Now, again, we've applied a 7-day moving average to this just to clean the data up. And this looks at a ton of really, really popular YouTube channels. So obviously, Benjamin Cohen, he puts his own channel on there, which makes sense, right? He has almost 1 million followers, but also Alex Becker's on here, Crypto Banter, Data Dash, Lady of Crypto, Altcoin Daily's on here, House of Crypto. There's a ton of people. And no, I am not on here. I'm a tiny channel. I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but as you can see right now, collectively amongst all these channels that are being tracked, there's less than 1 million views per day. Okay. Less than 1 million views per day when you apply this moving average to it. And to be exact, because it's best to be exact, right around, gosh, I would say that's probably close to 800,000 views right now. Now, in January and March of this year, we were above 2 million views a day on average. So over twice where we are right now, probably 2.5 times where we are right now. And if you think that's crazy, April of 2021, last bull cycle, we peaked out at over 4 million views a day, right? In November, we were above 3 million views a day, right? So this really just goes to show that crypto may not be as popular as it was when we're in that euphoria stage. And that kind of makes sense, right? When Bitcoin's hitting new all-time highs, you're seeing it all over CNBC, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. It's everywhere, right? We said, like, your Uber driver's bringing it up to you. Your grandma's bringing it up to you. We're kind of in the opposite right now. We're, in some ways, it kind of feels like we're in a crypto winter. So I obviously saw these metrics and I said to myself, you know what? I want to provide, kind of do my own litmus test. I respect the heck out of Benjamin Cohen, but I'm going to do my own litmus test. And I looked at Google Trends and I thought this was really interesting. So the blue line here, this is search trends for Bitcoin over the last 12 months. Okay. And in November, around the election, Google Trends gave Bitcoin an arbitrary score of 100. Okay. So you can see search terms, they really started to pick up October. This is the blue line going into November, and it hit a score of 100. Guess where we are right now? Currently, the Google search trends is a score for Bitcoin is 28. Right? So less than a third of where we were in November. And that just makes sense, right? Less people are watching crypto YouTube. Less people are searching for Bitcoin. And all of this is happening, and Bitcoin is still holding up its price pretty well, right? It's at 94,000. I know this is my bearish take, but I will say it's pretty impressive given that retail is clearly not here. If we use YouTube views and Google Trend searches, pretty impressive that Bitcoin's still above 90,000. Now, this red line, this is the search term for crypto. So obviously, more people search Bitcoin, which is the blue line. But to that fact, the first week of December, Google Trends gave crypto search a score of 44. This is in the first week of December. Currently, we're at 13. So also about a third less than where we are now. And again, this really just goes to show that retail is not here right now. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, if retail's not here and Bitcoin's holding up relatively well at 94,000, what's keeping us afloat? Here comes the Bitcoin ETF inflows, right? You can kind of make the argument, right? Enter the Bitcoin, BitGet, Grayscale, all these people buying Bitcoin on big days, right? And you can see some days it's over $500 million. This is $675 million. The first week in May 2nd. Today, though, we had a negative day, right? 105 million out. So this very much is a live by the sword, die by the sword, but I would suspect the ETFs are holding us up right now. Okay, the other kind of bearish thing that's kind of looming over crypto right now is Wednesday, right? The FOMC meeting. This is when Fed Chair Powell and the rest of the Federal Reserve are going to see, hey, are we cutting rates? And newsflash, we will not be getting rate cuts at this FOMC meeting, but the market is typically skittish going into these meetings. And in a lot of ways, that can suppress price. And we've seen that just over the past couple days, right? People are anticipating this FOMC meeting, and I suspect that's why we're having this negative down pressure on price. Well, the other thing is Goldman Sachs is now saying that we're going to get rate cuts in July, September, and October. So 3 rate cuts. But guess what? There's a lot of analysts on CNBC and other news outlets that are saying, hey, we may not get our first rate cut until September. And that to me is concerning because we know Bitcoin and other risk-on assets really, really like cheap money and low interest rates. So that's another bearish thing that's kind of looming over Bitcoin. Now, the big thing is, I kind of saved this for last, is we have a death cross that's just going on. And we're going to make a really, really interesting comparison between the QQQ, this is a huge ETF, in 2022 and 2025. And just real quick, for those who say like, hey, why are we looking at stocks? There's a huge correlation between the two. Whether we want to believe that or not, there is a huge correlation between the two. If we just look at this gold line, which is Bitcoin, and the red line, which is the S&P 500, over many, many months, years, these two assets move in tandem, right? Obviously, Bitcoin's been holding up better than the traditional stock market as of late, but they are highly correlated. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You can see in 2022, we put in this W pattern, had a death cross right here. This is March of 2022, for us to only then put in lower lows right here. And a lot of people are concerned we may be putting in this same pattern, but now in 2025, right? You can see the W, the correction, the down, the up. Are we getting ready to put in this leg right here, but just in 2025? And I will say these charts look very, very similar, right? We have this downtrend right here, and then an uptick, and the same thing here, downtrend here, uptick, before we put in the W pattern, which just so happens to coincide with the middle of this death cross right here on the W pattern, right? The death cross right here in the middle of the W. So that in a lot of ways is concerning. Now, if this is causing you panic, it's causing you unease, you need to be in a rock solid community. And we have just that, right? Down below is going to be a link to our free Discord. We have nothing to sell you, building an awesome community. So if you want to navigate the crazy crypto times, I suggest checking it out. Link is going to be down below. The other thing is this left translated cycle, right? So Benjamin Cohen, we were just talking about him, right? This is his website. We're not going to watch this video because it's only a 10-second clip. But what he says here is that there's concerns that we might be in a left translated cycle, right? And what that means is the top could already be in, right? The top could already be in. So if we come over here and we zoom out and we put this on the weekly chart, what that really means is, was 109,000 the top, right? If this was the top, this would mean that this is a left translated cycle. And for those who don't know what a left translated cycle means in layman's terms, is that we go up for 2 years and then we go down for 2 years, right? We've gone up for 2 years. And if this is a left translated cycle, that means we'd likely go down for 2 years. Now, you've made it this far to the video. You're almost 15 minutes in. I'm going to give you my 2 cents, right? I do not think we have seen the all-time high for Bitcoins yet. Yes, these numbers are really, really concerning. The social risk is really, really low. YouTube views are really, really low. Bitcoin search terms, according to Google Trends, is really, really, really low. Plus, we have all of this tariff data. Rate cuts might not be going down as fast because of inflation. All of this, in a lot of ways, can be super overwhelming. Here's what I want you to say, or here's rather what I want you to think. You say whatever you want. Global liquidity is spiking, right? We do know, although interest rates may not be cut as fast as we want them, rate cuts are coming. Countries are printing money like crazy. You think the US isn't printing money? Well, guess who is? The EU, Australia, China, Japan, amongst a ton of others. It's only a matter of time before we turn on the money printer. I'm genuinely curious on your guys' take because this is just mine. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, but I do read all of the comments and I'm genuinely curious what you think. If you got any value out of this video, hit the like button, comment down below, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on my next video.